What is up, it's AG603 here, owner and operator of TSW, back with another hot power rankings. What a wild week in TSW. I can assure you, this rankings got a huge shakeup. Let's check it out, baby. Similar setup as always right out the gate, though. We got a camera a little different, so we are going to see some extra names there. Touching on it, Khan, Z-Rock, goodbye, out the rankings in a number 40. Holding on by a thread is Fend. Losing yet another match. Not much we can say here, just loss after loss stacking up. But, you know, is a stud end of the day. Big name, charisma. We got to put him on the rankings. But, you know, one more loss, there's no doubt that he's tumbling down this thing and well out of it. We got DT Wings, talk about taking a tumble. Oh, boy. Kinshasa into oblivion. Couldn't stay at 35. Was staying at 35 due to inactivity, but we got to drop. And that was horrendous. Absolutely bad. Getting a little bit of bump because of some of this. There's going to be some guys, you know, they're going to drop and raise and drop due to inactivity. Some guys rest and some don't. So you're going to see some interesting rankings here. We've got Swain going from 32 up to 38, or I guess back, I should say. Inactive right now. Certainly a guy, someone to just give him an opportunity. He's certainly gonna make a name for himself, make a little bit of shine, and talk about a little bit of shine. Talk about Fenn, talk about the congregation breaking up. We got Sap Daddy going from 40 to 37, despite not technically winning any matches, but really like where he's going. We're talking trajectory, we're talking upside. I like the direction he's moving right now. I think it's a great call to separate yourself and pair yourself to somebody different. I like the Clap and Sap connection, like where that's going. Talk about connections, I like where they're going. A champion returns to the rankings, previously unranked. We've got our sweet Dargon here. Of course, now Royal Surgeon, Royal Liege. We've got to make sure we update the in-game pictures here, guys. That's not accurate. But, of course, former Dargantic Universal Champion, taking loss after loss after loss. But I like this pairing with Ched. I think it's going to have some upsides. Talk about pairings we love right now. Going up a couple spots despite losing, we've got PA Tony. Again, trajectory. We're going to talk a lot about trajectory here in the power rankings. I really like what Tony's got going on. Bringing the Burners Destruction in the fold. I think they're missing a piece here. Because I tell you what, that was not a good showing in that hardcore gauntlet eliminator. Plain and simple. Not much we can touch on there. Staying at 34, we got Prodigy. Like what he's got going on, and then some, of course. Well, don't like that he's wrapped up in the demons and disciples right now. The creators of pain looking to create some pain in the life of one Prodigy, but you know, don't turn your back on the wolf pack. He's got some boys there. He's got LBJ, he's got Deekster, so you got to think Prod, LBJ, and Deke maybe going into Halloween Havoc in just a couple week time here. Certainly the angle they're going to be taking there. And we're going to touch on something real quick. We had a mistake in last week's rankings. I do dearly apologize. Previously it was ranked 16 2 weeks ago. Missed the rankings last week altogether. That is not correct. That cannot be correct. So got to put him on you nonetheless. We got coming at 33 now. 33, Chico. Do apologize there. Of course, was challenging for the Cruiserweight Championship. Pretty close to doing so. Like what he's doing here. Is a former two-time tag team champion. We got to give some love here, Chico. Don't know what happened last week. You know, the problem with the game resetting the rankings each week is if I mess up my notes, everything gets screwed up. So we got Chico coming here at 33, coming at 32, dropping back one spot. We have an interesting chunk where everyone drops back just one spot. So we're going to touch on these a little quickly as well. Shrades, of course, losing the Cruiserweight qualifier. Former TNA heavyweight tag team champion, I should say. Good upside. Certainly going to see him in action very soon, and excited to see what he's got next going on. Does he pair back up with Rowdy? I don't think that's a possibility. But of course, once again, here dropping from 31 to 32. All these guys dropping back one. Kapner dropping back one. Tough loss to Cruiserweight qualifier, tough loss to hardcore matchup, but again, we like the trajectory. He's a former multiple division champion. We got to show love to Kapner. Plus, frankly, the top of these power ranks can be really clustered with a lot of guys who are doing a lot of good. So you know what? If you're doing a little bit of good, you're gonna hold your spot a bit. We got Stony, of course, similar spot there. Great job in King of the Ring. Rowdy, aforementioned with Shrades. All these guys just falling back one spot in activity or not really doing anything too good or too bad at the moment. Another one dropping back. This one was dropping back actually, I believe, 2 spots. We had misranked these on my paper, which means we might have messed up the rank at some point. We're gonna keep rolling with it because you know what? This is the joys of entertainment, baby. So we got Deeks here. It was ranked 26, dropping back 28 ever so slightly. Technically inactive, missed a week, got taken out, but it's back now. Excited to see what's going on, but oh man, a little nervous on the family there. Storyline wise, obviously, just to clarify. So excited to see what's next for One Deeks, or seemingly again the Prod LB grouping. Hopefully taking these damn disciples out, because I want to see it done. Also following the rankings by one, we got Craigie. Actually, Craigie's gonna stay a spot here, so that we just mislabeled their previous spots. Crisis averted here. Craigie, of course, coming off some great King of the Ring showings. In a bit of a holding pattern right now, but Craigie's an absolute stud. Certainly a matter of time before he's pushed back towards the top. In that, you're coming here now at 26, the last spot outside the rankings. Controversy, maybe. We've got AJ here. AJ was pretty much on the bubble as it was at 25. We're popping him back to 26 here. Did lose the qualifier. Got laid out by the Hollywood Express, if you will, Adam and CJ. AJ's in a tough spot right now. We'll have a last chance qualifier to try to get into that elimination chamber. Otherwise, he might be off Halloween Havoc altogether, which I really don't like. That is what it is. Debuting though at 25 in the 2 Sweet 25 is a man who did a great job in his debut. Great follow-up match, though losing to one of the best. We're talking Frosty, of course. Very excited to see him debut here in TSW. The Luchador coming through. Great move set, great athleticism. Really liked what I saw in not only the Cruiserweight qualifier, which of course he won to challenge LBJ the very next week, but toe-to-toe with LB. Hit him with some of his best moves. Now, LB did kick out. You know, I think that easily could have been a new champion, but LB is one of the best guys. We've said it before, we'll say it again. He is very tough to stop, as are all the champions right now in TSW, but certainly we'll be touching on those. But Frosty, really excited what he's got here in the future. Certainly think he takes another shot at that Cruiserweight title. You know, never know. Maybe he jumps in the hardcore division somewhere else. Someone else standing pat here. Not a lot of these left in the rankings, but standing spot. Not in action. We're gonna throw Bam here, of course, looking to re-challenge for the women's tag team titles in a couple weeks at Halloween Havoc. Former women's champion, first ever 2 division champion for the women here in TSW. Guys, people, you forget that. But Bama absolutely electric out there. Excited to see what Bama's got next. And this one may be a little bit of controversy as well. Dropping in the rankings. Not really doing much right now, except taking some losses. After a great run at King of the Ring, not a great follow-up. We're talking Raw Dog. 1 loss from getting bounced out to 25, but one of these guys, the final boss himself, will beat the living piss out of you if he gets the opportunity. The lone wolf, if you will, doesn't need anybody but himself and these 2 goddamn hands, and he's gonna fucking put you down with it. That tongue and death grip has been lethal. Talk about lethal finishing moves. Dropping ever so slightly from 14 to 22. By the way, Raw going from 18 to 23. Sometimes I forget if I touched on these. 14 to 22. We're talking the clap. Daddy. Love what he's going on with Sap right now. Couple tough losses. He will be in that last chance qualifier for the Universal Championship heading into Halloween Havoc, but love the move set. I mean, you're talking the driver, the super duper kick, now busting out some form of buckshot lariat variation. Very excited to see what's next for my man Clap. And maybe the biggest fall from grace in the last month, this person right here at 21 is going to be Miss Houdat, dropping from 17 to 21, taking a loss to Miss JG this week. That is, I believe, 3 or 4 straight losses between losing the women's title, the tag team titles, and singles competition, non-title action. Really tough run right now, but Miss Houdat's still stellar in this women's division. Certainly going to get a shot at get the titles back. Does have the rematch clause with Steph, I do believe, unless I'm mistaken. So excited to see how things turn out for the Houdat as we hit the top 20 here. Staying where they are. We got B Sanders not in action this week. Of course, their better half do not in action. Touch on that in just a moment here. But B Sanders, of course, looking to re-challenge for tag team titles. The greatest tag team maybe we've ever seen here, despite the one-time status. Lengthy reign defenses across the board, but B Sanders, despite being dominant, they did take a loss inside Ellen Only was the man pinned. That is a factor here. Coming in here at 19 up or back from 16. We got Emma Rose, of course, losing title match a couple weeks back on Turbo. Great showing though in the Eliminator, eliminating not only Tony but DT and Capner. My God, the opening to that match was incredible. Emma showing that you can't leave them off the card. They are a fantastic part of this goddamn organization and puts on a show. Puts on a show when they step in that ring. Talk about a show. Talk about previously mentioned champions. It's do not much build up here. Do not gonna jump up a spot here. Jump up a spot is going to leapfrog as well. B Sanders do not did get the win this week, of course, in that tag match. Now here's the dicey part. We're getting a lot of winners, a lot of losers, a lot of people qualified, contenderships, all that good stuff. This is going to get interesting. The backside of these rankings, guys, going from 10, the top 10, losing that attribute boost now to 17. We're talking big time. What a showing. Loved seeing Sir in the corner for him there. Easily, hands down, the greatest match in TSW history between him and Landmark, which, of course, we're going to see Landmark towards the top of these rankings, undoubtedly. But big time. Not sure what's next for him right now. I think he lost the rematch, but I'd be surprised if he doesn't try to find his way back into the BMI title here. Interested to see what comes up next. You know, Brandon 2K is waiting there for Landmark at Halloween Havoc, but I certainly think we need to figure out who's next after that. Is that where big time slots in? I think so, but we're going to find out certainly in a couple weeks. And we just mentioned Brandon 2K going from 13 back to 16 just due to inactivity when a bunch of people above him just did a little bit extra in the past couple weeks. But of course, we'll be facing Landmark on pay-per-view. We can now confirm will not be last ham stand. We're going to give him a break there, 1 ham mark. But it's going to be a great match. I'm certain Landmark always steals the show when he's in that ring. And excited to see Brandon 2K prove himself a little bit here. I think he's in a great opportunity to take a step forward here in the singles division since separating from his tag team. Talk about taking a step forward, talk about tag team, talk about singles, staying at 15. We got Up and Adam here. Up and Adam, of course, debut showdown with CJ. Thought, is this the next match? No, indeed. It was a little bit of a swervy boy. They were indeed in cahoots. They took out AJ. Up and Adam would later qualify for the chamber, which I'm dying to see how that one plays out if CJ, and Adam find each other inside the steel structure. But Adam, of course, undefeated. In a great spot, arguably should be a spot or two higher even, but didn't get the win this week. And you know, we got a recency bias. You got the win this week, you got the bump, which is why going from 33 to 14, we are talking one retro Yimmy, Pac-Man Yimmy as he may be. Big win in that triple threat qualifier, beating out Clap and Mr. Benjamin there. Will be challenging for the aforementioned Adams Universal Championship in the chamber at Halloween Havoc. Dicey past. Again, you could probably argue Adam being higher just due to the fact that Yimmy arguably hasn't done a lot in the past. You know, is what it is. Good showings, rumbles. Stealing show spots here and there, but unable to get those big wins when it matters, but finally doing so. And by the way, did get a big win over Deke in King of the Ring, did make the quarterfinals of that tournament. So Yimmy on the up and up right now. Is gold in his future? We are going to find out. Gold in the future, gold in the past. New partnerships aplenty, going from 21 to 13. We are talking Phineas and Herb. Maybe the one of the biggest talking points of the last couple weeks, of course, blowing off Landmark, and then come to find out that maybe they did have some chats, drink at hotel bars after recent shows, and turns out that maybe they fostered some kind of relationship here. As Finn wins his match, Landmark comes out to congratulate him, and then of course Landmark's title defense. I could argue Finn was a big part of Landmark winning that match with the distractions and the removal of the turnbuckle, some weapons being introduced there by Finn. I'm interested to see what's next for this one. You know, I in my mind, you think Finn and Landmark, two opposite sides of the coin, but sometimes, you know, the friend or the enemy of my enemy is my friend, you know, that kind of situation. Maybe that is the case here. Looking to reclaim some gold here for Finn and Herb, talking from reclaiming gold to retaining gold. Finally, some gold around the waist of one electric, chaotic Tina, baby. Tina, of course, one half the tag team champions, and we're just going to lump them in together. Outside the top 10 out of 11 is Miss JG, so Miss JG and Chaotic Tina. We're in action this week. To be fair, I haven't done a lot as a tag team, but they are champions. They're going to always have a little bit more heat at the top of the rankings. Miss JG almost jumped in the top 10, but I thought, JG, you can't do that. It's a little biased. But of course, looking to defend a couple weeks. We are going to see Tina, by the way, versus Bama this week, leading to that tag match at pay-per-view. Not sure the stipulation, probably some kind of Tornado Extreme Rules type situation. But here we go, guys, top 10. Now, here's an interesting spot. Who's the top 10, right? One person who you'd think would have been back farther is not. And they are going to be here at number 10. If you guys saw the end of Thursday Throwdown, you gotta put him up here. Wow. Joker is one of the disciples. I don't know what this means for him, for TSW, for the people around him, but what an insane reveal. I don't think anybody saw that one coming. What's next? You know, we've heard in the past, going back to his match with Prod, he was talking about the voices in his head telling him, and I think it's clear that those voices were not made up. Those were not imagined. Those appear to be very real. We don't know what's going on with Joker right now, but of course has challenged for many titles before. We'll challenge for them again. Interested to see what's next for Joker, for the disciples. We don't know the rest of them right now, their purpose, their meaning here. But this is a huge stepping stone into finding out the rest of this story, guys. Moving into the top 10, moving into the champions part of the program. A champion actually fell in the rankings this week. Swanee drops a spot. Swanee, of course, taking a tough loss. DJ not here, getting his neck checked out. Should be good for action next week. I believe we'll see DJ versus 1B Sanders. Of course, as we go into the tag team Hell in a Cell rematch at Halloween Havoc. But loss is a loss. Champ's a champ. It is what it is. Going to be high ranked because of that, but a loss going to knock you back a little bit, especially when the guy above him is just on the heater of a lifetime. We're talking, I believe, a 6-7 match winning streak. We're talking about the king of TSW, King Cheddar. The best of the best. Former BMI champion, as dominant as it gets. By the way, I would love to see King Ched versus Landmark at some point. If that does indeed work out. But of course, Ched focused, laser focused on Animal come Halloween Havoc, 2 weeks less than. He's got his royal servant, his liege, his squire, Dargon by his side. Animal outnumbered this week, took a loss because of it, maybe. A little too confident for his own good one, Animal, but you know, he brings that kind of energy. Got that big animal energy, you know what I'm saying? Got that big animal energy. But of course, Ched being here, Swanee back 1. That means DJ actually is up 1. DJ, by the way, real quick, Ched from 9 to 8, Swanee from 8 to 9 to 2, a little flip-flop there. DJ's sticking at 7, which means these top 6 guys are the same people. We're gonna say it, but we can assure you the order is very different. Before we get there, of course, DJ Scorpio inactive this week. 3-time tag champ, the only 3-time tag champ, the only one to win tag titles with 2 different partners. Former NXT champ, for what that's worth. Unfortunately, did have to vacate that, but we touched on that, of course, in past weeks. You know, he was inactive. We had to make some agreements with WWE to allow for the rights and usage of some of their superstars. It is what it is. But we owe DJ 1. Not sure when it's going to come, but he is tag champ. So it's like, I don't know. Kind of helped you out there. But we will give him a little bit more love in the future. Some singles gold opportunities, but we don't love doing the champ thing. So for right now, DJ Scorpio, enjoy that sweet tag team championship. But we get into the top 6 here. This is where controversy brews. No longer in the top 5. Who is it? Someone is out the top 5. And I mean, there are a couple champs that, you know, 1 loss, some inactive. Who gets the bump? Going from 4 to 6, it's going to be CJ Sauce. You know, inactive last couple weeks, technically speaking. I like what he's got going on with Adam right now, but he stacks the deck against me. I stack the deck right back. Hit him with that Uno reverse card. You know what I'm saying? We have to defend inside Elimination Chamber. Maybe the ruse with Adam didn't pay off for him. We're going to find out, though. Maybe, just maybe, he gets out of that chamber in one piece. Very possible. For right now, outside the top 5, I'd like to see CJ in some singles action next week. I would. Or maybe a tag team with Adam. Get him ready for pay-per-view. Get these guys out there. Right? And now, of course, going from 6 into the top 5, we're talking Steph building some momentum back up finally. Tough streak there, of course, losing the tag team title, inaugural tag team title match alongside Tina to the Rolldads. But Tina, you know, greener pastures arguably after that one. But Steph, 3-time women's champion, the best of the best, the creme de la creme here in the women's division in TSW. Again, does have that rematch against Miss Huda in the very near future. Big win over Miss Chico this week, made it look easy, but also a darker side of Steph, which I really was excited to see. So curious to see how that plays out in future weeks here. But here's the big one, guys. Shocker of a lifetime, potentially. Going from 1 to 4, it is Animal. Animal going from a +3 boost to just a +1, dropping in the rankings. Of course, can figure out who's above him right now. And that makes sense as to why he has dropped in the rankings. Did take a loss this week. Outside of the defense against Clap, which, you know, in all fairness, was pretty simple for Animal. No real competition, wins an easy squash match, and then takes a loss to Dargon and Shed. Animal needs some backup out here if he's going to be holding back the Dargon. That's a lot of girth to defend on your own, but we're going to see what's up next for the champion, of course. Again, defends 13 days to 10, depending where you listen, watch. Less than 2 weeks away, certainly, from that matchup with King Shed. Animal easily going to be the biggest challenge of his title reign. Again, no offense to Clap, we haven't really seen much of him, but we know Ched is a monster, a force to be reckoned with, and that's going to be a fascinating matchup to watch. And now let's find out these top 3. Staying at 3 is going to be LBJ. Dude, defense is the last couple weeks now juggling, you know, spinning plates, so to speak, between the disciples, helping out Deke and helping out Prod, and of course, defends against Frosty, doesn't have a number one contendership right now, does LBJ, but we do like to defend all the titles on pay-per-views, so LB has a complicated future ahead of him, but you know what? If anyone can pull it off, it's certainly him. One of the greatest we have here. Two division champ, of course, former hardcore champion. So excited to see what's next for LBJ. He's been putting on some stellar shows, but no shows have been put on as great as number 2. Who is number 2? Who's the number 2? And by default, who's number 1 here, guys, too? Number 2 is Boxy. Boxy stays at number 2, and I'll be honest, I could easily make the argument for number 1, but Boxy has been unbelievable defending the hardcore championship. Of course, only 3-time champion we've ever seen in the hardcore division. He has been so great, stopping any and all newcomers, challenges, getting through the gauntlet eliminator. Well, mind you, wasn't the earliest entrant, still got through 3 or 4 competitors. Boxy's been impressive. Boxy's been next level, defends the title every single show as the hardcore champion. He is the fighting champ here in TSW, but after this last week's show, number 1's clear. I have no doubt in my mind, number 1 is the Big Boss Ham, Landmark himself. The greatest match we've ever seen in that last Ham standing. 30 minutes of just absolute cinema. Of course, defense against Brandon in a couple weeks here, but I think Landmark with that +3 does put him in a great spot heading in that matchup. But these top 5, 6, 7, 8 even could easily jumble before the pay-per-view, so you can't be too confident right now. But Landmark in a great spot, not only win streak, but the ranking boost right now. But can Brandon stop Landmark? Right now, big time stopped him a little bit. Otherwise, Landmark in singles competition has been nearly unstoppable. Has had some hiccups with Khan by his side and tag team action, but Landmark has been incredible to watch, of course, since beating Ched for the BMI title. The best of the best. Mount Rushmore, chisel in that beautiful face right there. But that settles things for this week, guys. The power rankings are locked in. What do you guys think about these rankings? What do you guys think I got right, got wrong? Do you agree, by the way, with the top 5, top 6 specifically? You let me know in the comment section. Make sure to like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Note about the ding activated. I appreciate you. Y'all been the best. Y'all been too sweet. And as always, make sure you use the code JG603, 20% off Rogue Energy, baby. Woo. Appreciate you. Bye.